Sean Merriman's sack dance was being mocked at the end of the game by, among others, Ellis Hobbs, who's going to return this kickoff. There is Hobbs, Nate Kading to put it in the air. Last week, the longest kickoff return in the history of the National Football League by Hobbs, 108 yards at the Meadowlands. This one, if he runs it all the way back, will only be 89. He takes it at the 11. The special teams does its work, and New England will go to work at the 31-yard line as we take a look at their offense.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Morris Maroney, University of Minnesota.
Randy Moss, Rand University.
Dante Stallworth, Grant High School, Sacramento, California.
Benjamin Watson, University of Georgia.
Kyle Brady, Penn State.
Matt Light, Purdue University.
Logan Mankins, Fresno State.
Dan Gilpin, Boston College.
Russ Hochstein, Nebraska.
Nick Kaiser, University of Toledo.
And already a change. Hochstein was supposed to start because Stephen Neal is inactive tonight. They inactivated him before the game. But Billy Yates will actually make the start, number 74 at right guard. And Brady will go to the air right away and pick up 9 yards on a pass to the tight end Benjamin Watson. It'll be second down and 1 for New England. Matt Wilhelm, one of the inside linebackers in the Charger 3-4, makes the stop.
You know, one of the things that Bill Belichick says he doesn't want to do is run on first down, run into Jamal Williams, and do those types of things. So he comes out first down, 3 wide receivers, spread the ball, throw it to him, and now go no huddle.
No huddle on second down and 1, and the pass is caught. So he goes to Watson again. The Patriots from time to time use no huddle, use it quite frequently, in fact, and start a number of games that way. Wilhelm and Hart in on the tackle. First down on the first 2 plays with the ball out near midfield. They'll spot it at the 46-yard line.
Again, we're talking about Jamal Williams, a big nose tackle for the Chargers, really dominates the inside and the running game. And so the Patriots say, well, we'll just throw it if you're going to do that.
Now with 4 wide out of the shotgun, Randy Moss makes his first home catch as a member of this team. Quentin Jammer makes the tackle. The crowd saluting Randy Moss after his 7 seasons at Minnesota and 2 with Oakland.
Again, when you have a Tom Brady, you can do this. I mean, a big part of it is Tom Brady, and a little part of it, or another part of it, is the offensive line. It does a great job for Brady.
Second down and 2 against a defense that did not yield a touchdown to Chicago last week. Brady slings it to the outside, and that is caught by Moss, who falls out of bounds, picking up the first down. That 91, by the way, I know a lot of people wonder what that is. That's from Marquise Hill, the former defensive end. He played 3 years here and was killed in a jet ski accident last Memorial Day.
Yeah, watch how much room they give Randy Moss out there. That again is what speed does. You know that the corner is off. He doesn't want to get beat deep. He's going to give him room. So the Patriots just take the out in front of him.
From the 41, Brady out of the gun, has to step up. A little contact there, and then the ball comes loose for a moment, with Igor Olshansky finally getting to Brady, who was barely touched last week in the game against the Jets.
I think when he tried to pull that ball back, he just threw it right into the ground. I mean, he gets away so quickly and gets so much space between he and the offensive line that he started to throw that ball and couldn't, so it just went right into the ground, and Olshansky was right on him.
Unintended spike. Second down and 10. Kevin Falk is in the backfield. Now in his 9th year with this team, drafted in '99. He stays in the block, and he lays a great block out, which opens it up for Wes Welker, who came over from Miami, and Wes Welker gets inside the 10. Stephen Cooper came blitzing in, and Falk did a tremendous job picking him up, giving Brady the time to set up a first down and goal.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Kevin Falk has to do, is not only be a pass receiver, but you have to pick up the blitz. And Tom Brady will take that short stuff, and then you think that's what he's going to do, and boom, he goes right up the field on you. He'll always do that when he gets on his side of the 50.
First and goal on the opening drive of the game. Brady. Wide open is Benjamin Watson. And it's almost as if the Patriots said, we don't need any cameras. I guarantee you there are none being trained on San Diego's coaches tonight.
I'll tell you what, give me Tom Brady and I wouldn't need any cameras either. I mean, he loves his tight end down in this area. You see Benjamin Watson, he's the inside receiver here. He's going to run a corner pattern. The outside receivers come to the inside. All the Charger defenders came with him, and Benjamin Watson was wide open on the outside.
Steven Gostowski for the extra point. So it's a 7-play drive. Every play was a pass. And the only incomplete pass was when it came out of Brady's hand. Watson for the score, and just like that, 7-0 New England. Downtown Boston, 30 miles to the south we come. 7 plays, 69 yards. Brady 6 out of 7. Watson caught 3 passes on the drive. Now the kickoff will go through the end zone by Steven Gostowski. Here come the San Diego Chargers. Here's the offense.
Phillip Rivers, NC State. LaDainian Tomlinson, TCU.
Vincent Jackson, Northern Colorado.
Craig Davis, LSU.
Tommy Gates, Detroit Central High School. Brandon Monomalayuna, Arizona.
Marcus McNeil, Auburn. Chris Gilman, Indiana.
Nicholas Hardwick, Purdue.
Mike Goff, Iowa.
Shane Olivier, The Ohio State University.
An offense dominated by LaDainian Tomlinson and Gates as well. The question is, how good can the wide receivers be? That was the question last year as well, but it's a very potent offense. Obviously, they start from the 20-yard line. Rivers right to the air on play action and has it intercepted at the 28-yard line by Roosevelt Colvin. So the Patriots, with all the tumult over the past week, have a perfect first drive, and then the first play from Rivers is a pass intended for Buster Davis and busted up by Colvin.
You know, Roosevelt Colvin is out here, and you always think that he's going to be a rusher. So you put a pass protector on him, and that's exactly what Phillip Rivers thought. But when you look out there, and if you're Rivers, you have to see that he dropped, and he's just running right to that out. They expected him to rush. He didn't. He dropped, and they threw it right to him. That's the thing about these Bill Belichick defenses. You think they're going to do something, you're almost sure they're going to do it, then they don't.
Master of disguise, has been for years. Brady starts out of the shotgun here.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Ed Hockley, let's take a look right now at the San Diego defense.
Igor Olshansky, Oregon.
Jamal Williams, Oklahoma State.
Luis Castillo, Northwestern. Sean Phillips, Purdue.
Stephen Cooper, Maine.
Matt Wilhelm, Ohio State.
Sean Merriman, Maryland. Quentin Jammer, Texas.
Clinton Hart, South Sumter High School.
Marlon McCree, Kentucky.
Drayton Florence, Tuskegee.
Now on 1st and 15, the pass is through the hands of Kevin Falk. So they try to cash in on the Colvin interception. Colvin intercepted Rivers in that playoff game in San Diego last January.
And that's the thing about Roosevelt Colvin, and on the other side, Mike Vrabel, the same thing. You know, you think they're linebackers and then they become defensive ends. Then you think they're defensive ends and pass rushers and they become linebackers, and they're very good at both.
2nd and 15, no huddle, out of the shotgun. 4-man rush. The line does its job. The catch is made out here by Wes Welker. He gets taken down at the 22-yard line by Drayton Florence. And take a peek now at Sean Merriman, one of the best in the league.
Well, you know, Sean Merriman is going to get the pressure from one side. Sean Phillips on the other side. But the thing the Chargers aren't getting here is any pressure in the middle. And when you play against a Tom Brady and he's in the shotgun, you better get pressure up there.
Brady thinks pressure may be coming from his left. Instead, simply a 4-man rush. 3rd and 9. He has time, and the pass is thrown a little behind Welker. So this was key for San Diego after giving up that drive. Then the interception, at least holding them to a field goal attempt.
And we saw Rosie Colvin drop off, and here we're going to see Sean Merriman. Again, usually a pass rushing linebacker. That time he went off with the motion man with Welker, and he was in pass defense. But if they're going to get pressure on Tom Brady, they're going to have to get it from the outside, plus a push up the middle.
41-yard attempt for Gostowski. The backup quarterback Matt Castle to hold it, and the kick is no good. Chris Hansen was the holder. Chris Hansen holding because Castle hurt his finger last week. So the snap was good. The hold looked like it was good, but the kick wasn't. San Diego dodges a bullet. Or no deal, you'll see it Wednesday right here on NBC. From the 31, Phillip Rivers, who had his first pass intercepted, starts to hand the ball off, and we've got Ed Hockley's crew throwing 3 flags.
I think the right guard, Mike Goff, jumped.
Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jumpy start for San Diego. That's Mike Goff, the right guard.
You know, I felt last week in watching the Chargers in the first half that they were a little jumpy, that they were tight. They didn't have any rhythm to their offense at all, and kind of carried over into the first half or the first quarter of this game.
Yeah, they got lucky last week. 2 turnovers made the difference in the game as LaDainian Tomlinson takes it up to the 29. A phenomenal season for Tomlinson last year, shattering a mark that Paul Hornung had set for most points in a season among others that had lasted for decades. Led the league in rushing, was the MVP, and with an injury right now, a stoppage on the field. That's the right tackle, that Shane Olivier, who had his problems last week against the Bears, and right now he is down on the turf. And that's the right tackle for San Diego, a problem spot along their interior last week. Roman Oben, who normally backs him up, is also down tonight, inactive, and Jerome Clary will be coming in.
You're going to see Olivier is number 70 there. Looks like he gets his knees rolled up behind him, but that's not where he gets it. Watch it right here. I mean, he gets his back bent in a way that your back doesn't bend. That's the thing as an offensive lineman you always worry about is not stuff in front of you, but stuff rolling up behind you and putting you in that position.
Jeremy Clary will come in. Clary is a guy in his first full year now because he was drafted last year but didn't play, and he comes out of Kansas State, so he's the guy along that front that will have to pave the way for LaDainian Tomlinson.
Right, and they kind of like him. I remember when we were there and watched him in training camp, it was either going to be he or Leckerkirker. I just wanted to say Leckerkirker, but he beat out Leckerkirker and they cut him, kept Clary. So I think he's going to be the guy that eventually starts at this right tackle position.
Anytime you want to say his name, be my guest, John. Rivers pump fakes and throws to the outside, and that is incomplete. The coverage is good. The pass was thrown out of bounds anyway. Intended for their #1 draft choice, Craig Buster Davis, covered on the play by the cornerback Randall Gay.
You know, that was one of the things that Norv Turner talked about is we have to get these other guys involved. You know, it's not all about LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates. You know, guys on the outside have to make plays, and he wanted them to make plays early in this game. He wanted to get them into the game early, and that was his try to get it to Buster Davis.
Gates split left on 3rd down and 12. Rivers out of the shotgun. Patriots moving around defensively. Rush 5. Protection is good. Pass is good, but it's going to be short of a first down, even though Gates is trying to get to that yellow line. He can't. He's about 2 yards shy. So they go to the tight end, who's really more of a wide receiver than a tight end. But it'll be 4th down and 2.
Yeah, and the Patriots came on a blitz here. You'll see they put Gates in motion. They get him in a stack position, and that way you can't get on him or you can't punch him. And he should have gotten up the field. If he gets up the field about 3 or 4 more yards and that ball's completed, he picks up a first down.
Mike Cypher is one of the better punters in the league. Sending it down toward Wes Welker. 48-yard kick. And Welker will bring it back to the 25-yard line. The Brady bunch will go to work there. 9:53 left in the opening quarter. Patriots up 7-0.
Al, here's the wristband of Ted Cottrell. He's a defensive coordinator. Now, that's one of the ways that they call defenses. He has all his defenses numbered on the wristband. Then he has 4 of his defensive players that have the same wristband.
Here's Maroney up past the 30 to the 32-yard line.
So you see, you usually have, a couple of your linebackers and your two safeties that will have the wristbands, and you see them there. So Ted Cottrell just calls in a number, and they look at the number on the wristband, the corresponding number, and then they call that defense to the players. Now, we're talking about, stealing signals and things that people do. The wristband is one way to get around it.
It's interesting because it's so low tech. 2nd and 3. And that catch is made for a first down to Wes Welker, who comes out of the slot a lot. Played with Miami last year, can run back punts and kicks and play out of the slot. Had a good week last week and has already caught 3 balls tonight.
Yeah, but you still have to change that up, and they'll even change the wristbands. I mean, they'll take it in the in the second quarter. They'll put a new wristband in that has new numbers, and then of course sometimes they'll call it without the wristband. So it's all ways to to signal a defense in, but not let the offense pick it up.
From the 43-yard line, Maroney. And with Corey Dillon gone, he becomes their #1 back. He was drafted in the first round out of Minnesota last year. They worked him in with Corey Dillon. They had a very effective 1-2 punch. Dillon did a masterful job after coming over from Cincinnati. And now Maroney will take the bulk of the ball carrying with Sammy Morris backing him up.
And if you're going to run the ball, you better get that nose tackle blocked. Watch Jamal Williams. He just takes on the center. The guard tries to cut him. He just runs away from everything, straight down the line, and meets the ball carrier just about the line of scrimmage. That was one of the things Bill Belichick didn't want to do, is run on first down against Jamal Williams.
Out of a 4 wide out set on 2nd down and 8, coming back to try to make the catch and make it is Randy Moss. So he ran downfield, came back along the sideline, knew exactly where he was. First down at the 45-yard line, gain of 10 for Moss.
And now this tells Tom Brady that he's going to look for Moss because he sees the blitz. The offensive line does a great job of picking it up. Look at the time that they give Tom Brady. And again, if he gets that kind of time with speed like Randy Moss on the outside, they're going to eat him up. I mean, they're going to hit him in front of him early, and then there's going to be a point pretty soon that Randy Moss is going to go deep. Ed Hockley, look at the arms on that.
Oh,
guy,
he loves it too, yeah.
I know. You can't get that shirt any tighter, can you?
Ed would wear that shirt if it was 25 degrees,
False
not
start.
55.
Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Can you believe that Ed Hockley didn't have a postseason game last year?
No, I mean, it was shocking when I thought about it. I mean, he's refereed the Super Bowl. He's regarded generally as one of the best in the league, and we would be among the consensus in that regard. Did not ref a postseason game. 1st and 15. Here's Maroney. And he will go nowhere as he probes the left side of the San Diego defense. Ryan Bingham is there to make a stop, number 97.
Right, and if he continues to run that way, he's going to continue to go nowhere. I thought that last week he didn't really pound it in there, and he doesn't pound this one in here. I mean, that there's not a lot of cracks or creases in there, but you have to take that thing, and you just have to get your shoulders square and get up. Sean Merriman there. I mean, he plays that perfectly. He usually plays on the tight end. He's very good at that, taking that tight end block, letting the ball come to you, and then make the tackle.
2nd and 15 as Brady throws to the outside. That's Welker's 4th catch. What a move as he breaks away from Tim Dobbins, who's in there because Wilhelm for the moment is on the sideline being checked out, and that will be a first down.
That's a move that you can make if you can go forward and then the next move is backwards. I mean, that is something. Usually, you juke a guy and you go right or left, but when you catch a ball and then you go backwards, you see that, and make him dive in air and then go forward again, you're going to get a first down. There's not a lot of guys that make that move.
He's fortunate he wasn't penalized because what he did at the end was spike the ball, and that is a penalty this year. The pass is caught out here by Randy Moss, and Moss will pick up 5. It's interesting that Randy Moss cost them a lower draft pick in a deal with Oakland than Welker did, a 2nd rounder in a deal with Miami.
Well, there was a lot of rumors about Randy Moss, and one is really not a good team guy, and 2 that maybe he has lost his speed. And, you know, I think if he has a chance to win, he's a pretty good team guy. And I don't believe he's lost his speed.
Just ask the Jets.
Patriots are doing an extra, they have an extra lineman in there now.
Here's Maroney on a 2nd and 5, and that's going to be enough for a first down. At the 24. Randy, when he was at Minnesota, was tremendous, of course, from 98 through 2004. There are his numbers over that period of time. 2nd in yardage and scored 90 touchdowns, the most over that period. But then 2 years in Oakland, the first of which he played for Norv Turner, of course, now coaching the San Diego Chargers. 2 wasted years for him. Everybody thought, well, maybe, as John said, didn't have enough speed, not a team guy, but you know, so far so good in New England.
I talked to him the other day, and he is really happy. I mean, he loves it here. He's closer to home and loves playing with Tom Brady.
It's a gain of 1. Speaking of Jamal Williams, right there to make the tackle on Maroney. The Patriots right now have 132 yards, and the Chargers have 13.
And watch Jamal Williams. I mean, if you're going to run, you're not going to run inside on him. I mean, he is the best nose tackle in football. He's the best run stopper in football. Now, that's where he didn't get a big pass rush in the middle, and that's where I think the Patriots had some success early, is they had some pressure from the outside, but Brady was able to step up because there wasn't a lot of pass rush pressure.
2nd and 9, and the pass is caught by Moss for a touchdown. The Patriot offense has been surgical in the first quarter.
Just a matter of time. Here he is inside. You see he's the inside receiver. He just runs right through the zone. It's a 3-deep zone. You have a corner and a safety, and he just runs right between that corner and the safety. You knew that eventually they were going to go deep to Randy Moss, a couple of short ones, and then boom, they hit him there.
Chris Hansen to hold for Gostowski, whose extra point is good. Brady has thrown for 140 yards, the most ever for Tom in a first quarter. Randy Moss, 2nd TD of the season. New England looking very sharp. 14-0. Randy Moss, in less than 5 full quarters, has now caught 14 passes as a New England Patriot. Looks like Brady opened up a Christmas gift in September. 2 of them for touchdowns.
Well, that old thing, speed kills. You know, it sure does, and it changes the defense you can play, and it opens up so many other things. But you also have the Randy Moss factor.
Here's Michael Turner running back the kick. He's LaDainian Tomlinson's backup. Out to the 31-yard line, where he's tackled by Eric Alexander. Against New England, LaDainian Tomlinson has had some big days. 141 yards per game, the highest rushing yards per game versus the Patriots since 2001. 5.6 per carry. The Charger fans, though, they feel they should have gone to Tomlinson more in the second half of the playoff game last year, and that might have made the difference.
And I think being down 14-0 now, they can't get away from Tomlinson. They still have to stay balanced.
3-yard gain for LaDainian up to the 34-yard line. The nose tackle in the 3-4 Wilfork makes the stop.
You know, that's one of the problems with having your best player, your running back, as the score starts to separate on you. You know, his runs and his 5-yard carries and so on are going to be less effective.
Norv Turner coaching his 3rd team, 7 years at Washington, 2 at Oakland. 2nd and 7. Tomlinson on a delay, and LaDainian will pick up the first down as he chugs through the middle out to the 42-yard line, and James Sanders, the safety, makes the stop.
I know one thing. I know that he wants to run well. You know that this is a big thing for him, and this is just a power lead. He just gets right in behind his fullback Lorenzo Neal, and you know sometimes he'll look for a crease and cut off that. That time he just powered it right through the hole.
Now in a single back set. That's Monomaliuna going in motion. He provides the leverage, but Tomlinson gets tripped up just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Adalys Thomas in on the tackle. Thomas was Mr. Everything with Baltimore, a big part of that tremendous Ravens defense. Became a free agent. And it's funny how the rich sometimes get richer. Winds up with New England, who you think would be right up against the cap, but they paid him what he wanted.
You're right, and as you say, New England is so rich that Adalius Thomas should really be an outside linebacker. But they have Roosevelt Colvin there, and they have Mike Vrabel there. So Adalius Thomas is playing an inside linebacker.
2nd down and 8. Flag goes down. You saw Belichick going down the sidelines. The line of scrimmage is the 44, and Bill, to get a better angle for whatever he was looking at.
Delay of game defense. Number 59 made a motion trying to simulate and cause a false start. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Bill trotted down the sidelines about 13 yards to get a better peek, but it turns out to be Roosevelt Colvin who gets penalized here.
I think every time you see them do something, or they flinch, or they make someone move, or Bill Belichick runs down in the sideline, starts moving around, you're always going to think, what are they doing? This has to be illegal. They can't do that. Someone told me last night that this is Hammer the Hoodie week.
Tomlinson for a first down. There's no question that Belichick has taken a tremendous hit this week. And the Patriots, and of course, you love to shoot at the top dog, and they've done so well. But there's no question that the image of New England and the Patriots were thought of as one of the model franchises because of what they've done in the Bob Kraft area, but that image has taken a whack this week. There's no question about that.
Right, and they're trying to get that competitive advantage, and like we talked about earlier, is does this affect the team? Is this a distraction for the team? And I think in this first half, it's answered. This is not a distraction to the New England Patriots.
There is Bob Kraft, and we'll talk to Bob at halftime as he addresses what took place this week. Meanwhile, we've got an injured Patriot. You can't identify him just yet. It's Adalius Thomas. Around the league today, of course, Bob and the gang with everything at halftime for you as Thomas comes off the field. Junior Seau goes in to replace him, the longtime Charger, and there's no running room there for Tomlinson because Seau was there to push him out of bounds of the Houston Texans.
We saw the Texans in preseason on film, and I tell you, they're pretty good.
Thomas came back into the game, and the pass is caught along the left sideline by Vincent Jackson. The Chargers have big outside receivers. Jackson is 6'5". Malcolm Floyd is 6'5". Kasim Osgood, mainly a special teams guy, but does play a little bit of offense, also 6'5", and Gates is 6'4".
I think this is the best pass that Phillip Rivers throws is the out. I mean, he feels real comfortable here. A little play action pass, get back, gets set, and throws it perfectly. I thought that same week, last week against the Chicago Bears, he did that 3 or 4 times.
You have Tomlinson and Turner both in the backfield together, and Rivers is going to get hit and lose the ball. Roosevelt Colvin, who had the earlier pick, forces the interception, and it's recovered by New England.
Rosie Colvin having a big night. Remember, he got that interception, and you thought he was going to rush. This time, he does rush.
Vince Wilfork with the recovery.
You're going to see Colvin here against Monomaliuna right here, and he just gets his hands on him and then just pulls him to one side and goes around. Good pass rush. I mean, all good pass rushers have good hands and use their hands well. Brandon Monomaliuna is the second tight end for the Chargers, but is a very good pass protector. He's like having an extra offensive lineman in there.
Now at the 44 after the second turnover. 1st and 10, half-minute to go in the opening period. Brady play fake throws, and that's about an 8-yard gain for Dante Stallworth, another newcomer. Let's go to Andrea.
Yeah, well, right tackle Shane Olivier for the Chargers. We saw him carted off. He was lying flat on his back. He has a lower back injury. They took him in for further evaluation, and he is questionable for his return. As for linebacker Matt Wilhelm, he walked off with what they're calling a calf injury. He had the same injury actually in the preseason, and he again is in the locker room for further evaluation.
Thank you, Andrea. We'll let the clock run down. forward progress got him enough for the first down. What a quarter for the Patriots. What tumult. 14-0 New England after one. Sunday night back after these messages.
I admire Tom's leadership. I can see how he took control of the offense, how he was a student of the game, how he could help everybody on the field get better.
He knows exactly what we're doing, and he gets us going in the right direction on every play. So, you know, he's just a smart football player.
The guys talking about Brady. We come back to Foxborough. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer. 14-0 New England. New England has the ball to start the period. It is 1st and 10. Sammy Morris is the running back. He gets his first carry, and the former Bill and Dolphin, who backs up Lawrence Maroney, takes it to the 39-yard line, where Quentin Jammer makes the tackle after a gain of 6.
You know, when I was talking to Randy Moss the other day, he said that was the thing that really amazed him about Tom Brady. He said how smart he was and how hard he studied and how hard he worked. He said he's always one of the first guys here, last to leave. He's in the weight room, and he said, you know something? He's always sweating. He always has sweat on him.
He looks too cool to sweat. On 2nd and 5, this is Sammy Morris picking up 2 to the 38-yard line. Tackled there by Jamal Williams.
You know, a lot of times we just think that this stuff comes naturally. You know, you say, look at Tom Brady, how smooth he is, how great he is. He looks like silk, but he worked very, very hard at being that. I know that, you know, he's not a big guy, and he was never a strong guy, and he's really had to work, you know, building up his legs and his strength and his body, and, you know, and he's done that. He's done everything else, too.
Same in almost every sport. Look at Tiger Woods.
Well, the best always work the hardest, don't they?
Yeah. 3rd down and 3. Brady under pressure throws, and the pass the Chargers say is no good, and the officials concur. Intended for Stallworth. There's a penalty. Back at the 46-yard line. Ed
Personal
Hockley.
foul, roughing the passer. Defense. Number 54. Helmet. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Inside linebacker Stephen Cooper, taking Donnie Edwards' old spot, went to the helmet, and thus the flag.
I think he had 2 things, didn't he? The ball is gone. It's a late hit, and then it's a helmet. Looked like he got a couple of helmets. He got a helmet to the face, and he got a helmet to the back of the head. Right there, yeah. I mean, it's a late hit, and I don't know that it's helmet to helmet as much as it was left hand to helmet. In any case, it was a late hit, and it should have been called and was.
Edwards gone. It's really Wilhelm who takes that exact spot, but Cooper on the inside are the 2 great outside backers. The 2 Shawns and Phillips and Merriman. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Five-man rush, and this time Brady gets sacked, and the ball is loose. But Tom is able to cover up as Sean Merriman comes around the corner, as he does so often. 17 sacks last year, despite being suspended for 4 games for violating the substance abuse policy.
Right, and he went for the strip, too. Ron Rivera, the guy from the Chicago Bears, who's now coaching the linebackers here at San Diego, really teaches that, you know, to come around and always go for the ball. I mean, you go for the sack, but always go for the ball. It was all started by Lawrence Taylor, and Lawrence Taylor, of course, was Sean Merriman's idol, and that's why he wears number 56, and to this day watches film of Lawrence Taylor.
2nd and 16. Short drop by Brady. Quick toss from Moss, and Moss got inside position on Quentin Jammer, and that will be close to a first down. It's a 14-yard gain, setting up a 3rd and 2.
And Jammer saying, what the heck do I have to do? Watch him. Jammer is playing an outside technique, so Randy Moss comes off the line, bends into him a little just to hold him, and then runs a slant.
Just a little 3-step drop, almost impossible to cover.
Yeah, that's why I always said that he looked like Joe Montana. I mean, Joe Montana did the same thing that all the other quarterbacks in football did, but he just made it look a lot easier. That's what Tom Brady does.
3rd and 2, and Brady couldn't get the play off before the play clock expired. Calls a timeout. New England on the move again, already up by 2 touchdowns in Foxborough.
Randy's fit in, from day one. He's come in, worked hard through the whole offseason program like everybody else.
Randy Moss is a talented receiver, physically and mentally. But as a Patriot, he fits in because he wants to win.
So far, so good. Randy Moss, 9 catches last week, 6 tonight, a touchdown in each of the games. Picked up 14 on the last play before the timeout. 3rd and 2 now at the 15-yard line. Sammy Morris is the running back, and Brady's going to keep it himself. And we'll see when they unpile how close he is, very close to a first down.
Yeah, the reason he did that is it was a short yardage situation, but the Chargers were in dime defense, or 6 defensive backs, and there's no one over the center, so Tom Brady's just going to take it. Look at that, there's 6 defensive backs, there's no one in the middle, so that was kind of a gimme first down for Brady.
And Jamal Williams, in the meantime, was on the bench as well as they were looking at him. Now they go no huddle from the 13-yard line. And Sammy Morris, 4 years at Buffalo, 3 years at Miami, tackled by Stephen Cooper, the inside backer.
Yeah, one of the reasons that the Patriots picked up Randy Moss is that, Bill Belichick always loved him. Thought that he was a great player, and defensive coaches are always afraid of speed. You say, what scares any defensive coach, any defensive guy, any coordinator more than anything? It's a wide receiver with speed.
2nd and 8. He's one-on-one at the bottom against Jammer.
There's that safety over the top, though.
Brady looks over the middle, throws. That's caught by Jabbar Gaffney, who caught 10 passes in the playoff game last year at San Diego. He's tackled by the rookie out of Utah, Eric Weddle. 3rd down.
And that's what Randy Moss does. And when we talked about Jammer being out there, but that safety is out there with him too. If you look, both these guys out here go out there because of Randy Moss, and that will open things up in the middle and on the other side.
Here's Morris on 3rd and 2, and that's a big stop for the Chargers as Sean Merriman is there to make sure there's no advance. And Sean Merriman getting booed by the crowd. Didn't do his sack dance there, but that was the dance that was being mimicked at the end of last year's game, creating the bad blood between the teams.
So Sean Merriman is going to make the play like that because they don't block him. And even though he's outside, and we talk about Lawrence Taylor, and when Lawrence Taylor lined up in that position outside, even though you were going in the middle, you had to block him. When you go in the middle, you have to block Sean Merriman.
Here's Gostowski's 24-yard field goal attempt that splits the uprights. Brady leads him down the field for 3 more. 17-0 Patriots. A little lesson here on what's legal and illegal in light of what's happened this week. There's a coach's camera at the 50-yard line, upper left. In the end zone, upper right. There's Belichick, of course, at the bottom. Those cameras are legal. Nothing wrong with shooting from those angles. And after the kickoff, we'll get to what the Patriots did last week, which led to the penalties, as Gostowski sends this kick down to the 10-yard line. This is Darren Sproles, who suffered a concussion on the opening kickoff last week, who gets banged down by Eric Alexander. So what did the Patriots do last week? Where was the camera located? We're going to recreate it for you. And there is where the camera was, behind the Patriot bench, focused on the Jet defensive coaches.
Right, and what they were doing is they would take a picture of the defenses being signaled in, then they would pan up to the time and score and down and distance on the scoreboard. So they had the 2 things. They had the signal, and then they had the scoreboard. Then you would marry that with the play.
From the 30-yard line, this is Tomlinson. There's a flag as LaDainian gets bumped out of bounds. John, as a coach, and I heard Jimmy Johnson say today that he'd heard about that a bunch of years ago from a Kansas City scout, and it wasn't worth anything to him. I mean, what do you think as a Hall of Fame coach? What's it worth?
It wasn't worth anything to me either, because I didn't like to be distracted. Because here's the thing: is offensively,
there was no foul on the play. It was not a hold. The defender was just overpowered.
The defender was overpowered so much it looked like a hold. But what I was saying is you have to call the play to the quarterback before the defense is called. So even if you know what the defense is going to be, you don't know it before you call it. So you call your play, you go up to the line of scrimmage like right now, and then you signal in to the quarterback right now, and you tell him, no blitz or cover 2 or cover 3 or whatever. You can just get those signals to him.
This is a swing to Tomlinson on the 2nd and 7, and Tomlinson cuts inside of Junior Seau, who makes the tackle a little bit short of the first down. Tackled there by number 98, Chad Brown.
Now this is the other thing that is legal. This is the still photos, and what you do is you take 2 pictures of the defense. You take the picture right at the snap and right after the snap. So you see one, how they're aligned, and then you catch their first movement. And that's what the coaches study on the sideline or show the players on the sideline.
3rd and 1, where they normally excel. Last year they were 24 out of 25 on 3rd and 4th or 1, mainly because of Tomlinson, but he is stopped that time by Santonio Thomas, number 92. So the crowd rose as 1 before a 3rd and short, and now it's 4th down, and Norv Turner sends the punting group out.
You're going to see it right over here. The tight end doesn't get any movement over there. It was down here on this side. Doesn't get any movement there, and there's no place for Tomlinson to run.
Cyphers to punt. Wes Welker will run it back. Welker started to call for the fair catch, lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone. So out to the 20 they'll come. A little scuffle ensues after the play, but no flag is thrown. Brady begins at the 20-yard line. 8:07 to go to the half. 17-0 Patriots. We just saw the promo, and there he is. Zach Levi, the star of Chuck, here at the game tonight. It premieres next Monday night on NBC.
Zach has to show a little more excitement.
Yeah, well, during the commercial.
He's a Charger fan.
Chargers.
It's hard to get excited about the Chargers right now.
No, not to this point. It's been all Patriots. And this is Sean Merriman coming in for the sack. So Merriman made a big play defensively on a 3rd down play on the last series. And the crowd gives Merriman his own Bronx cheer back at the 10-yard line with a sack. It'll be 2nd down and 20.
Sean Merriman was saying last night that they're moving him around more. And you see, this time he starts as a linebacker on the left side, strong side linebacker, and then he stunts to the inside. The inside linebacker goes, and then he comes right in behind him. I'm sure that's one that the Patriots weren't ready for.
2nd and 20 now at the 10-yard line.
Charger defense has to get a turnover.
And that's bobbled and incomplete. The coverage was good. The pass intended for the tight end Ben Watson, covered by the strong safety Clinton Hart.
Norv Turner was saying last night, he said, if our secondary plays well, our defense will play well. And I think his secondary in the first half here has gotten towards pretty good, and a big part of that is Randy Moss.
3rd down and 20. Jammer has his hands full. Covering Moss, and a Falk splits to the outside, sending Weddle to cover Moss in the slot. And Brady throws underneath, and it's caught at the 15-yard line, and out to the 22 goes Benjamin Watson. So they needed 20, and they got about 13, and the Chargers with a defensive stop, creating the punt. They're telling us these are NFL frequency coordinators monitoring the frequencies tonight behind the Patriot bench. I can't imagine there would be any shenanigans tonight. I can't imagine.
I don't think there will be any shenanigans the rest of the year.
I agree with you. This is Darren Sproles with a flag thrown early and then late at the end of the play.
Darren Sproles had a concussion last week, and the new concussion rule, the doctors have to say that he can go back in. He wanted to go back in, thought he was okay, told Norv Turner he was okay, and The doctor said no, so Sproles couldn't play the rest of the game. And I think that's a good thing. And, you know, that a player will always tell you that he's okay. And as a coach, the guy says he's okay, well then, heck, go on in there. But now it has to be the player saying he's okay, the coach saying he's okay, but the most important guy is the doctor has to say he's okay.
Sproles got hurt last week on the first play of the season.
There were 2 fouls by the receiving team on the play. Both of them were illegal blocks in the back. Number 52 is declined. Number 28 is enforced. 10 yards from the spot where the receiver caught the kick. 10 yards, first down.
Carlos Polk and Steve Gregory. 6:53 to go to the half. San Diego with the ball and in need of getting something going. 17-0. Bob Kraft has owned this team since the mid-90s. He's seen his franchise go to 4 Super Bowls. But of course, a tumultuous week. We'll talk to him at halftime. 1st and 10. San Diego from the 32-yard line. And Rivers throws, and that's caught. He finds the open man, and that's Vincent Jackson to the 46-yard line. A couple of things we should mention about the New England defense. Richard Seymour on the physically unable to perform list. Knee, won't come back till at least the 6th week. Rodney Harrison, the strong safety, on the suspended list. Gone for 4 games. This is the 2nd.
You know, I don't think Phillip Rivers has gotten into any rhythm, not only in this game, but in this season. He looked like he was anxious and antsy last week, and he really hasn't been. I mean, he completed that pass, but he was a little behind the receiver. And he really hasn't gotten into any groove or rhythm yet.
Trying to here, and the coverage is very good as Ellis Hobbs is right there, hitting Buster Davis just as the ball got there.
You know, and that's the thing that they have to do. I mean, you always talk about, you know, LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates, but that's not enough. And Norv Turner knows that, and he has to get a wide receiver. I mean, his #1 draft choice is Buster Davis. Then you have to use him. He has to become a threat.
They need to find a threat on the outside. Their #1 wideout last year, Eric Parker, out with a toe injury. 2nd down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Aaron snap, Rivers recovers, throws, Gates makes the catch inside the 40, and that's going to set up a 3rd and short. Wilson and Seau in on the tackle with under 6 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter.
You know, and Gates is such a great tight end. I don't even know that you'd call him a tight end because he moves around so much, but he's great at this option stuff. If you watch him here, he comes up, and then, you know, he sees coverage on the inside. He sees Junior Seau on the inside, so he just does a pivot and goes to the outside. And he and Rivers were on the same page on that one.
3rd down and 1 from the 37-yard line, and Rivers throws, and it is intercepted. That's a Dallas Thomas, and Thomas is out in front. Can the Chargers get it from behind? No, they cannot. Touchdown, New England. A 65-yard run back. On a 3rd and 1.
That's the thing that these Patriots do so well, is they show you something and then they run fast to get out there to take it away. They just don't saunter out there or slide out there. They get out there quickly. And that's what Dallas Thomas did on that one.
Gostowski for the extra point. Thomas makes a lot of big plays. A defensive player who has now scored 6 career touchdowns. That's his 3rd on an interception run back.
But I mean, they practice this stuff. Here's the Dallas Thomas right here. You know, we said he's a little uncomfortable inside, but he's very comfortable here. You see, I mean, he starts and he just doesn't get back in the middle. He starts at an angle and gets that angle that Rivers can't complete the ball. You see, he goes out there and he has that angle where he's between Rivers and the receiver, and they take away great angles. And that's one thing about a Bill Belichick coach defense. They show you something, and then they get to parts where you're not ready for them, you don't expect them, and they get the interception.
The Patriots tonight have been picture perfect. Pardon the expression.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, they can talk about him, but Bill Belichick can coach some football. I mean, you can't take that away. I mean, you just watch the way he coaches, the way they practice, and they kind of bait you into things like that, and then boom, they take it away and intercept it.
He kept saying last week, because he was stonewalling the issue, he kept saying, we're moving on, we're moving on, we're thinking about San Diego.
And they were. I mean, they did move on, and they did think about San Diego, and they practiced about San Diego, and they came out here in this first half and played like they were ready for San Diego.
That's a short kick and a fair catch called for by Jacques Césaire. So Gillette Stadium we come in Foxborough. Brady, 16 out of 20 for 184. Rivers, 5 of 9, 2 picks, 61 yards. 5:17 to go to the half. The Chargers are going to have to pull off something they did last year when they were down by 21 at Cincinnati and 17 at Denver in back-to-back weeks and won the game. This is going to be even tougher than either of those.
Right, and Norv Turner hasn't figured out this defense, and his quarterback has no idea what they're doing.
From the 28-yard line, here's Tomlinson. And Tomlinson takes it up to the 39-yard line. Mike Goff helped to lead the way on LaDainian's biggest burst of the night.
Right, and that's the stuff that Norv Turner thought they'd be able to do. Is he said last night that, you know, that LaDainian has to be able to hit those creases. We think we can get the creases on him. There's a crease right there. LaDainian Tomlinson did get the crease. Of course, he didn't expect to be down 24-0 in the first half.
From the 39-yard line. And they will not go away from the running game, and why should you when you have Tomlinson up to the 42-yard line?
I think right now, just to get some rhythm, just to get some balance in this thing, just to get back, that the Chargers have to think right now, get some first downs. You'll get 2 or 3 first downs, get a score here before halftime, and then go in, regroup, and come out and take it to them in the second half. But they haven't been able to do any of those things yet.
And they will get the second half kickoff. Michael Turner is the running back here on 2nd down and 7. They give it to Turner, who averaged over 6 yards per carry last season, up to the 45. He goes, setting up a 3rd down and 4. Norv Turner wound up getting a team with so much talent after 7 years in Washington, 2 years with the Oakland Raiders, last year at San Francisco as the offensive coordinator. And San Diego, of course, knew all about him because he helped to install this offense back in 2001.
And I think they wanted continuity, so they lost Cam Cameron. He went to Miami, but Cam Cameron was coaching Norv's offense, so they brought Norv back.
3rd down and 4 up at the 45-yard line. Rivers under pressure, throws, it's caught by Turner, but a great tackle was made by Sanders. Rivers getting jostled. The pressure was intense enough that he had a check down, and then Sanders came up to make sure they didn't convert.
That's the thing, you have to put the pressure on, and Ty Warren was there, Mike Vrabel was there, and you know, you don't like to see the quarterback throw a check down on 3rd down, but Philip Rivers had to on that, or he was going to take a sack. Just saw Philip Rivers down here, Al, throw his helmet before he sat down. He is very, very frustrated. Someone has to get him under control.
Cypher's punt will go into the end zone. As he said last night, John, after talking to the Chargers, they seem unusually confident. Now, of course, it's a different story. Norv Turner inheriting a great team. The coaches to inherit teams, the best record in the league. You had Nick Skorich replacing the retiring Buck Shaw, and then John replaced John Roush back in 1969 after the Raiders had gone 12-2. Jimmy Johnson won a Super Bowl, and then Barry Switzer came in '94, and Barry would go on to win his Super Bowl in 1995.
I tell you, that's a heck of a lot better doing it that way than doing the opposite. But when you take over a team like Norv Turner has, was 14-2 the year before, there's a lot of pressure on you to win every game. And they haven't looked good this year at all.
from the 20-yard line. Here's Maroney up to the 25-yard line. A.J. Smith, the general manager of the team, who was John Butler's chief aide, and he succeeded Butler after John died a few years ago, and he's drafted tremendously. I mean, remember, they had Drew Brees. He had to decide whether to go with Brees or go with Rivers, who they were able to pick up in the Eli Manning trade when they drafted Manning, and Eli did not want to go to San Diego. So he's really done a great personnel job. He and Schottenheimer were at loggerheads, and finally he had to make the move last year. He brings in Turner, and right now they got a lot of stuff to worry about, at least tonight, because it's been all New England. They've been razor sharp. At Gillette, 24-0. 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to the half. Second down and 5. New England at the 25-yard line. It's Kelly Washington in motion. Here's Maroney trying to cut it back, and does successfully. And he'll get run down, but not until he picks up about 11. Eric Weddle and Marlon McCree are there. First down for New England. A little barking going on.
And the Chargers better stop barking and start tackling, because you know what happens here. The Patriots are getting close to midfield, and I know how they think, and I know how Tom Brady thinks. Getting close here to a play action pass and go deep to Randy Moss. Now, maybe they're going to try and get a first down first, but this is where once they get around midfield, they go after you. They go after you deep.
Brady will take a timeout. New England has one remaining. All New England so far tonight. Brady, after the opening kickoff, was 6 of 7 on the opening drive. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns tonight. Phillip Rivers, meanwhile, has had 2 picks, 1 returned by Adalys Thomas for a touchdown. And Tomlinson tonight with 10 rushes for 35 yards, and there is Thomas's run back for a 65-yard interception touchdown, and thus it's 24-0 as we approach the half.
You watch Adalys Thomas, and he's so big and so strong, and then he can run that fast. I mean, some of those guys should be illegal.
He was a big part of that Baltimore defense, along with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, as Brady throws after the timeout, and that's caught by Falk. He's tackled up at the 45-yard line. Pats have 1 timeout. Weddle makes the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Ben Watson better get lined up.
He's in the slot to the right.
Tom Brady was talking to him. He's right here. He's telling him who to block. They're having a discussion there.
2nd and 1. Brady in the pocket. Brady going deep, and that pass is not caught, but there's a flag as Dante Stallworth and Antonio Cromartie were one-on-one. And the flag is going to be on Cromartie.
You know, you just know that's coming up. I mean, you know, they get to midfield and they're going to take a deep shot.
Pass interference defense, number 20. There was an arm bar. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Here it is. You see what the arm bar is you can't put the arm inside. See the left arm right here? That's what he's calling the arm bar, that the left arm is in there and stopping the receiver from running deeper. Now, I'm not sure about that. I mean, that looked like a pretty good defensive play.
Ed Hockley said 20. It was 31. He was talking about Cromartie. 47 seconds to the half.
I think he had a double dip mistake on that one.
Yeah. And now Brady going deep again, and this time for Stallworth, and the pass is incomplete. So you had a replay right there, and it will be 2nd down and 10.
Because you got on that side of the 50, I mean, he'll throw short, he'll dink, he'll dunk, he'll run the ball, and then when he gets here, he's going to go after you deep. That's how he gets everyone set here. He has to identify the mic. He started his count, and he had to go back to identify the mic. I mean, he is so calm doing that.
Manning like. Falk to the 27-yard line.
I think he's calmer than Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning You know, you see him do that, stop his cadence, you know, start a new cadence, move a guy around, identify the mic, and he kind of makes you nervous. You know, like you just drank three pots of coffee.
A little less frenetic. On 3rd and 6, that pass is intercepted. And it's picked off by Clinton Hart on a deflection, and Hart will take it back to the 30-yard line. So San Diego already down by 24, at least able to keep New England from increasing its advantage. So Brady guiding him down the field, getting the call on the pass interference, then trying to go deep with Stallworth, has this one intercepted.
We threw it behind him here. Here he starts on the end, and instead of leading him in, he put it on his back shoulder. I mean, this is a bad throw by Tom Brady. I mean, he has to lead him in and across and in front of that safety. Did you see what he did after that, though? He went over and looked at the ball. You're like, hey, there's got to be something wrong with that football.
Weird shape. And the half will end on a Tomlinson 1-yard carry. So that will do it. The New England Patriots looking super. 24-0. Halftime show. Coming up. But first, these messages from your local NBC station. Sunday Night Football as we return to Foxborough, Massachusetts. Tomlinson held in check in the first half. Tom Brady, a big first half. San Diego and New England meeting for the first time since the playoff game last year, that excruciating loss by the Chargers, who self-destructed in that one. And tonight, it's excruciating to the extent that it's been completely New England dominating. Here's Michael Turner running back the second half kickoff. Back out to the 28-yard line. He comes. And that's where San Diego will go to work. Phillip Rivers, a forgetful first half. First half in 06 led the league in first half scoring, in overall scoring as well. And last week, shutout against Chicago and shutout tonight against New England. 1st and 10. Rivers tries to get something started. Let's see what adjustments Turner has made with his team at the half here. They start by going to the air, to the outside they go, and that pass is caught, but for a very short gain by Antonio Gates. Eugene Wilson, the safety, come up and stand right with him.
Yeah, and that's what a head coach has to do and a play caller has to do, is you have to go in, you have to make adjustments, and you have to get something to settle your team down. I mean, so to have a little success. Again, you don't need a big play right away, but you need a little success. You need some first downs. You have to get into some kind of rhythm.
2nd down and 8. Here's Tomlinson. Not getting much. LaDainian in the first 6 quarters of this season is averaging 2.2 yards per carry.
You know, and that's one of the great things that this Patriot defense does is, and Bill Belichick, you say, what's the first thing we have to do? And he goes, the first thing defense have to do is take away LT. The second thing is Gates, and the third thing, if we take away those two, would be a deep pass. And they do a great job at doing 1 and 2.
Patriot D telling the crowd, come on, get noisy, stand up. They comply. 3rd down and 6. Rivers out of the gun, throws over the top, and it's caught at the 45-yard line by Antonio Gates. 1st down. Here's Andrea.
Well, walking into the locker room at halftime, the Charger defensive players were yelling, "We've got him where we want him." Well, Norv Turner didn't seem as optimistic, but he said we've got a veteran group that will continue to compete. He said we've got to get the right mix on offense. We can't just bail out of the running game. He said right now I'm just concerned about getting a drive going. As for Bill Belichick, you never know his team had a 24-0 lead. Very little to say at halftime.
Nothing new there from the 45-yard line. Rivers going deep, and it's almost intercepted by Asante Samuel on a pass intended for the 6'5" Vincent Jackson, and batted away by the 5'10" Samuel. The key Chargers tonight aligning the stars but not playing like it. Rivers the 2 picks. Tomlinson held in check. Gates has 4 catches. but for only an 8.8 average.
Bill Belichick says Tomlinson was number 2. Tomlinson was 1. Gates was 2. He had to take those 2 things away, and in the first half he did.
Here's Tomlinson, slants over the left side, and it's Roosevelt Coleman with a great first half, making the tackle after a gain of 1.
Now that's where this whole defense, to me, starts, is having big, strong outside linebackers like Vrabel and Colvin, and they keep everything inside. I mean, they just kind of push everything to the inside and squeeze it down to the inside linebackers.
3rd down and 9.
This is where Norv Turner didn't want to be in this position, because this is where you get your exotic defenses like 2 linemen, 4 linebackers, 5 defensive backs.
They rush 3, and he finds Gates over the middle. So 3-man rush, 8-man cover, and Gates makes the catch. Lined up on the right side that time, over the middle, 1st down, San Diego.
You know, and this time you're going to see Antonio Gates is down as a tight end. Most of the time he'd been like a slot or a wide receiver. This time they put him at the normal tight end position. And you see who was on him? Randall Gay, a corner was on him. So that's the kind of respect that they have for Antonio Gates. They treat him like a wide receiver.
Here's Tomlinson, the Ladanian, to the 24-yard line behind Manu Maliuna.
You know, we were talking to Bill Belichick. He said, you know, you want to do something against Antonio Gates, but it's hard to find him. You know, just look at where he's lined up. I mean, we see him here, he's a tight end. Here he's a slot receiver. Here he's an outside receiver. So the first thing you have to do if you're going to double him is you have to find him, you know, to get your double on him.
2nd and 2. And Tomlinson starts left, goes right, and Dallas Thomas says, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, we talked about Dallas Thomas and how big and strong he is, and having been an outside guy, now playing the inside. They can do a lot of things with him inside. I mean, where, you know, he can come up and you just watch how he hits it. I mean, a lot of those linebackers will sit back and read and wait for it to come to them. Dallas Thomas just hits it 3 yards into the Charger backfield.
3rd down and 6. Opening drive, 2nd half. Rivers under pressure, gets it away and converts. So that's Vincent Jackson. So Rivers, being pressured that time, was able to go to a 6'5" wideout, covered by Samuel, and another Charger conversion on 3rd down, 1st and 10.
And it's good that Phillip Rivers is 6'5", because a couple completions he had to kind of jump up to see to get that ball off in the middle, and that was one of them right there.
Drive started back at their own 28 after the 2nd half kickoff. From the 18, fake draw, buy some time. Now he's flushed out. Directing traffic, he'll keep it and go out of bounds. Junior Seau is there to force him out at about the 13-yard line.
Well, you know, once they get in the red zone, the San Diego Chargers are going to go to Antonio Gates. So here's what they're going to do. Here's Gates here. You get up and you pound him, and then you run underneath with him, and then double him over the top. So they kind of had 3 guys on him. They had someone up on him, hitting him, someone running with him, someone over the top, and someone deep inside on him.
San Diego best in the red zone last year. A lot of that's Tomlinson. They love to run in the red zone, as they do here. But Tomlinson gets bottled up as he reaches the 11-yard line. So again, they'll need a big 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, and that's when they get the 8-man up. You get the safety up there. You see number 36, James Sanders, was in on that tackle. And you know, Tomlinson and the Chargers have always thought that they can run against 8-man fronts. But when you're down 24-0, that's tough.
3rd and a long 3. The Chargers are 3 for 3, converting 3rd downs on this drive.
Gates is on the line here.
Tomlinson in motion, that empties the backfield. Rivers throws. That's caught. That's another first down to Gates. Gates got position on Wilson, and the tight end makes it a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
You know, and that's what he does so well. He was a tight end. He just kind of goes down and sits down right in here, and having been a college basketball player, he didn't play football in college, but he can do these kind of things, you know, use his body. Now watch Philip Rivers here. I was talking about how he uses that 6'5" and jumps. He did that on the 4 passes on this last drive.
That's Tomlinson on a 1st and goal. Gates has caught 3 passes for first downs on this drive. They've converted 4 third downs. The drive has taken almost half the period. New England has not had the ball. 7:40 to go in the 3rd, 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, but that's what Norris told Andrea at halftime is you know, you can't think, you know, we're down 24-0. We have to go out and score 24 points on one drive. We have to go out and just get a drive going. And they're doing that.
From the gun, 2nd and goal, and that pass is tipped and incomplete, too high for Antonio Gates. So again, it's going to be 3rd down. That time Roosevelt Colvin making his presence felt all night, getting in Rivers' face.
Yeah, and that's what Antonio Gates again does so well, and Philip Rivers knows it. Here's Antonio Gates, and you're just going to see him again just go to the goal line and make that pivot. You know, and he does those things so well. The closer you get to the goal line, the more that he can use those basketball moves.
3rd down and goal for the San Diego Chargers. Empty backfield from the gun. One-handed by Rivers to Tomlinson, and LaDainian stretching out, but is stopped short. He's at the 1-yard line. That's Junior Seau who makes the stop. So it's now 4th down. It's a 24-point game. I think if you go for the field goal here, it's the most Pyrrhic of, I don't even want to call it a victory. I think you have to go for it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you know, they haven't had anything go their way tonight, and they haven't really been aggressive. And I think that you know, I'm not always a big guy to go for it on 4th down, but I am in this situation because somewhere you have to show aggression.
Right, you can't have an 8-minute drive end with 3 points. So they'll take a timeout, talk it over, 4th and goal when we come back. So after a San Diego timeout, 4th down and goal in this game, the San Diego Chargers have twice failed to convert on 3rd down and 1. The ball at the 1-yard line. 4th down and goal. They're trying to make it a 17-point game. The fake, and then the pass caught by Neal for a touchdown. Lorenzo Neal, the fullback, touches the ball for the first time tonight, and the San Diego Chargers get exactly what they had to have to breathe some life back into their chances. Down by 24 at the half, they go down the field. It takes them 8-17, and in they go for the touchdown.
Right, and you know that Neal is going to be the lead blocker, so you fake him on a lead block, put him out in the flat, and hit him for the touchdown. But the Chargers needed an aggressive moment, and that 4th down call was it.
Nate Kading for the point after. That was a 16-play drive, 72 yards. 24-7 Patriots. 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific time. Dallas, Chicago next week. Nate Kading to kick off for San Diego. 24-7 as the Chargers get on the board. This is Ellis Hobbs. Back to the 25-yard line he comes. And Tom Brady will get his hands on the ball for the first time in the second half. Bill Belichick marking the pictures here. That's legal.
Right. That's the still photos we talked about earlier where you take right at the snap of the ball and right after the snap.
Here's Wes Welker on their first offensive play of the 3rd quarter. And Welker is run out of bounds after a gain of close to 6.
That's one of the things Wes Welker can do for you. He can play the slot. He can run the reverse. He can run those, short outs, those zone passes, those kind of things, and is pretty valuable and goes well with Randy Moss. Randy Moss, you got your deep guy, and then you work a Wes Welker in there for the shorter stuff.
2nd and 4, big hole there, and that's a first down as Sammy Morris starts as the back in the second half here, and out he goes to the 45-yard line to move the chains.
Yeah, we talked about Jamal Williams, and you got to get him blocked. Watch number 70, Logan Mankins, the left guard, right there. He comes down and he knocks Williams down. Now, when you get Williams to the ground, then you can make some room inside, and you're going to make yardage. Logan Mankins pretty good by the left guard.
Against a 4-man Charger front this time on 1st and 10. Morris again across midfield to the San Diego 49-yard line. The Patriots stars in the first half. Big night, of course, for Tom Brady. Got off to a beautiful start, 6 of 7 on the first drive, 2 touchdowns. Maroney averaging 4.4, and Randy Moss coming off a 9-catch performance in his debut with 6 catches tonight.
And he's not through. I think again, we talked just before the halftime. The Patriots start to get close to midfield, and now you're just about ready for that play-action pass, and Tom Brady going deep.
Sean Phillips, the outside linebacker, will come off for at least one play. Marcus Harris replaces him.
Now they've kind of been running at Sean Phillips, and they've had most of their success running at him, or maybe it's just that they're running away from Sean Merriman.
Could be, and also you've got Wilhelm out. He's in street clothes, and Tim Dobbins is taking the spot at in the 3-4 next to the outside linebacker. Morris again. And that'll be a first down as Sammy takes it to the 43-yard line.
Look at Jamal Williams there, Al. There's something on his left arm or his left elbow that's been there. Dan Copeland, if there's something and there's a skirmish after the play, I'll guarantee you the center's always in it. but look at him. There's something with that left arm. He's not the same guy, and they're getting him blocked now, and and they're running right at him. Early in the game they would never do this. Now here he is, and you see that they have a double on him, but even with a double, he can usually dominate those. Jamal Williams right now is not dominating.
He came off a couple of times during the first half, and they were working on his arm on the bench. And that sleeve is the end result. New England takes a timeout.
One of the great downtowns in this country.
Great city. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 43-yard line. Brady throwing. That's caught by Moss. Randy makes his first catch here in the second half. And that's to the 28-yard line and a first down, and it's a 15-yard pickup as Moss has collected his 7th pass of the evening.
Right, Randy Moss just lines up outside right. He's the outside guy up here, and you're just going to see there's no double coverage. It's a cover 3, so he knows once he gets past that safety rotating up, he has that whole middle of the field. 54 is the mic.
54 is Stephen Cooper. And you can tell that Williams is hurting. Williams got an arm on him, and that's about all. He could only slow him up, but still the gain is about 4 yards.
Yeah, and if Jamal Williams is the healthy Jamal Williams that we know, this doesn't happen to him. Even though he does have a little help there, he comes off and he makes that play. He's a big guy. He's a strong guy. I think he's the best nose tackle in football, but he's playing with one arm tonight.
On 2nd and 6.
There it is.
Brady open. Randy Moss. Touchdown. It may be 2007, but Randy Moss looks like he looked at about 2001, doesn't he?
I know it, and you just know you get on this side of the 50, Here's Randy Moss here, and you think you're going to have help out there, and he just runs by everything. And you see Drayton Florence, he steps up. I have no idea what he was looking at. If you're on Randy Moss in this part of the field with Tom Brady throwing, you know where the ball's going.
Exactly. Gostowski for the extra point. So the Charger D, after the San Diego offense had worked so hard to get the 7, give those 7 right back. Brady on target again. 3 touchdown passes. 31-7 Pats. 9 Central, right after the premiere of Heroes on NBC. Michael Turner running back the kick from the 4-yard line. Up to the 31-yard line. Few barking crabs.
See how that guy did it? You put the plate over the plate, and you pound it with a rock, and all the crab bounces at it.
Here's Wes Welker.
They never had the patience to eat that stuff.
You know what?
It looks good. Everyone said they love it and all that.
Yeah, no, just open it up. Just take the shell. You do it. I'll eat it. There it is.
The guy brought it out, hit it with the old rock. Well, that's not bad. But that's too hard. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot easier. I mean, just a hot dog, relish, mustard, ketchup.
The simple life.
Now you're talking.
2nd and 2. And we got a false start here.
False start, offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
The ever-present hoodie being worn by Bill Belichick tonight. Who would have thought anything had gone on? The way this team came out, they've dominated from the outset. They had a 24-0 lead at the half. They're up by 24 in a game that figured to be as tough as any game on their schedule. What, me worry?
Hoodies all over the place. But, you know, the thing is, I mean, you can punish them and you get down on them for the camera and trying to steal signals and all that stuff. And, you know, and he was wrong and that was bad and he was punished. But you can't take away that this guy can coach football. I mean, he is one of not only the best coaches in football right now, I think one of the best coaches ever. I mean, he has his team prepared for every part. I mean, special teams, defense, offense. He knows what he has to take away. He knows what he has to do, and he gets it done.
Of course, his specialty is the defensive side. There he is, and he's got a pretty good offense as well. They're clicking everywhere tonight. The pressure was put on Rivers that time. It's 3rd down and 7. Rivers going deep, one-on-one, tries to get position, flag thrown. Sanders makes the interception off the deflection. And the question is, the penalty is offensive or defensive. You had Buster Davis and Ellis Hobbs going at it. And it's going to be against the Patriots.
And then it'll be against Ellis Hobbs.
Negating the interception and giving San Diego the 1st down.
Right, and San Diego's at the position now.
Defense number 26. Pull his arm down. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. San Diego's ball, 1st down.
Old Easy Ed's having a tough time with the numbers. I think it was
27.
Ellis Hobbs. I think it's 27. Ellis Hobbs is running right there, and he has his hand on his jersey. He said he pulled his hand down. I don't know. He got his hand in. That's not bad. I mean, you know, they said, you know, he grabbed the jersey a little, but my God, you got to kind of let that stuff go.
That's a 37-yard penalty. Matt Tomlinson, no, can't get out of the backfield again. This time it's Ty Warren, the end, making the tackle.
You know, and he plays very well in there. Ty Warren is maybe the most underrated guy on this defense because, again, he's a defensive end in a 3-man line that has to play away from usually Seymour on the other side of Seymour and has to play it like a tackle. And you see him out here, just take that tackle on square, come off and make the tackle. Those guys can't play on shoulders. They have to play square. And that's hard.
2nd and 11. Tomlinson averaging 2.5. That's an errant snap. And Rivers one-hands it and then throws, and it's caught by Malcolm Floyd, another of their 6'5" receivers. And his forward progress is stopped at the 25-yard line. It's another time tonight when out of the shotgun, Rivers had to one-hand the snap.
James Sanders looked like he threw a left hook in there before he went down. Isn't Junior Seau something though? 18 years in the league, and he still flies around. And he's gonna come in here and dive in there. Did you see that?
Rivers deep, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Vincent Jackson, who was covered by Ellis Hobbs, and it would have been out of bounds anyway. Second down.
You know, I think the biggest play that Junior Seau made was on that last drive when the Chargers had him and got him out there man-to-man on Tomlinson in the open field, and he made that tackle. There's a guy 18 years in the league. I saw him at practice the other day, and I said to him, you know, that old thing players say, you know, take care of your body and your body will take care of you. So I said that to Junior. I said, take care of your body and your body will take care of you, huh? And he goes, well, that works for a little while.
243rd career game at linebacker, behind only Clay Matthews now, formerly of the Browns, and this is caught by Michael Turner, and Turner picks up the first down as he gets to the 13-yard line. So the Chargers here at the end of the third quarter, knocking on the end zone door again.
And now Turner comes out and Tomlinson goes in, or Tomlinson goes in anyway. So, you know, that 1-2 punch when they get into the fourth quarter here, it's either going to be Tomlinson or, again, trying to get the ball to Gates.
End of the third, 31-7 New England. Back after this from your NBC station. Chargers led the league in fourth quarter points last year. Two tremendous comebacks on the road against Cincy and Denver. Pats 59-1 with Brady as a starter when leading after the third. That's where we are now. Start the fourth. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, Foxborough, Mass. Chargers 1st and 10 at the 12. Rivers throwing against the grain, and Hobbs is right there. Hobbs doing a good job tonight. Malcolm Floyd on the coverage. Good job outside of that one penalty against him on the last series.
And that wasn't really a bad play either. But you know, the thing that, you know, the Chargers get down here and they're going to try and get the ball to Antonio Gates, and that's the same thing that the Patriots are going to take away. I mean, the number one threat right here, when you get inside the 20-yard line, I mean, you're going to go to Antonio Gates most of the game anyway, but probably 90% of the time when you're down in this area, you're trying to get the ball to him.
On 2nd and 10. Rivers throws, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown for Antonio Gates, who makes the catch, stays in bounds, and crosses into the end zone for a 12-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, we were talking earlier how they move Gates all around, and not a lot as a normal tight end. But here he is as a normal tight end. So he draws a linebacker inside. He holds him to the inside and a safety on him.
He has to get the ball inside the pylon, and he does. So that's a touchdown.
Isn't that something when you know what you're going to do and they know what you're going to do and you're still able to do it?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing if you're the one doing it. Cading for the extra point. So the Chargers have gone down the field twice in the second half after being held scoreless through the first 30 minutes. A 17-point game.
Is this game a rivalry? And I think it's turning into that.
There will not be a lack of emotion in this game.
And a game like this, it's all about that passion.
Those guys have a ton of years under their belt. And when they play with that discipline and with that experience. They let that help them throughout the course of a game.
They're not going to beat themselves. They're true champions. At the end of the day, who's better, me or you?
Right now, New England's better. Bill Belichick talking to his defensive unit emphatically.
Well, yeah, because he has something now that he can get on him about.
Yeah.
You know, the things were going too well there, and Bill Belichick's not a big backpacker. He wants something to get on him.
2-yard line, Ellis Hobbs. And last week, 108-yard Run back for a touchdown, the longest play in history, and he's stripped. He is stripped of the ball. Kasim Osgood. One reason he went to the Pro Bowl as a special teams guy are plays like that. He's able to strip it, and then it stays in bounds. He takes a seat, crosses his legs. No problem, guys. Go to work.
You know, he is something as a special teams guy, and I was watching the Patriots practice the other day, and what they did is they would let number 81 go down like 5 yards in advance because he's always going to be the first guy there. And watch how he hustles, comes from behind, and uses that tomahawk strip. Right there's a tomahawk. That's one of the things, you know, I said earlier that Ron Rivera came in from the Bears where he's a defensive coordinator, linebacker now. Bears got a lot of turnovers. Chargers not a lot. That was one thing they wanted to improve upon.
Jammer made the recovery, and then Rivers gets sacked on the very next play. So they go in for a touchdown. They get a big special teams play, and then all of a sudden they turn around and Mike Vrabel is in there for the sack.
It looked like the protection started out pretty good, but you know that you're going to get Colvin coming from one side, Vrabel from the other side. Again, it's Vrabel on Manumaleuga. Manumaleuga had him, and then he takes the inside. You know, one thing, they're going to take away Antonio Gates. You see there, they had him inside out or double.
So a 10-yard sack, making it 2nd down and 20. Hockley went from the defensive huddle to the offensive huddle, almost to say, guys, I'm not throwing a flag, but knock it off.
Yeah, the type of thing, you know, in the fourth quarter, you can see if, you know, if the Chargers don't score here, that there may be frustration on one team and the other team being a little braggadocious.
And then Rivers loses the ball. He gets sacked. That time it's Roosevelt. Colvin again. They can't contain him. San Diego recovers, but the ball is all the way back to the 50-yard line.
Rosie Colvin went right by Marcus McNeil. We saw the play before. It was Vrabel coming, and then Colvin coming from the other side. I mean, these guys, when they get you down like this, they can be relentless pass rushers. Here Colvin is right here. You see, he gets into McNeil and then right around him. That is way too easy. He gets that right arm up there, chops that shoulder, and then goes right around it.
That's a 10-yard sack, 3rd and 30. So Belichick got on his defense, and boy, have they responded. And Rivers flushed that again. He has to dump it to Tomlinson and can't even complete that pass because there was too much pressure on. So the Chargers presented a golden opportunity to get right back in the game. A touchdown would have made it a 10-point game. And the next thing you know, the New England defense rises to the occasion.
Right, and that's what defenses are supposed to do. They're supposed to put fires out. And when something happens and the other team starts to get, you know, a little motivation, they start to get momentum, they start to feel good about themselves, you have to go in and boom, take it away. That's exactly what the Patriot defense did.
They brought the hoses. Mike Cyphers to punt. Kevin Falk to run it back. Nose down kick. They're caught 8-yard line by Falk. A minute 35 into the fourth quarter. This kind of night for Phillip Rivers. The frustration evident in that last shot. New England 31, San Diego 14. And the Patriots will have the ball with Lawrence Maroney in the backfield behind Brady. This drive starts at the 9-yard line. Quick drop, and then Moss gets planted, but not until he picks up about Stallworth rather gets planted after a 7-yard gain.
I was talking to Tom Brady the other day about shotgun and regular, and he said the reason he likes shotgun is, he said, for the vision. You can see there that he's square and he can see the whole field. He said, when I drop back like this, you can see here, I cut off half the field. I just see the one side I'm throwing to. When Randy Moss is on that side, what the heck's the difference? But that's why he likes the shotgun better than being under center, because of the vision it gives him.
2nd and 2 from the 17-yard line. Maroney. Up to the 21-yard line.
You know, but that's what he's all about. I mean, he's so calm back there in the pocket. And, you know, again, I go what I was talking about earlier in the game. He has good pass protection, but his vision is so good. And he gets back there. He gets separation from the line of scrimmage. He gets back there where he can see everything. He doesn't have a guy that he's going to force it to. He's going to throw the ball to the open guy.
From the 21. 6-yard gain. This is Maroney, 2nd and 4.
You know, and you can do so much as a quarterback when you have good pass protection. Watch here. He's looking to his right now. He sees Randy Moss, but he doesn't want to look all the way. He looks back and pumps to the middle so he can get that safety off, and then Randy Moss splits the corner and the safety. But he looked at him, and he knew he had him there, but he didn't stare at him. Then he looked the other way to hold the safety, and then came back to Randy Moss for the touchdown. This guy is a very, very smart player.
And makes it look almost effortless. 2nd and 4 from the 27. And that'll be a first down with Wes Welker. So Bill Belichick in the crosshairs. Everybody talking about it today, top to bottom. And he's the one guy, he's like a horse that puts blinkers on. Whatever's going on around him, he doesn't care. Straight ahead, coach the game. And he's done a, well, obviously a great job tonight.
But you know, if you watch him do that, you know, you think, well, you know, that's just him. He makes a statement and then he won't talk about it. But you know, it's going to carry over somewhere. Then you go out on the field and you watch him coach, and it's like nothing happened.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no carryover.
From the 35. Maroney, big hole over the left side to the 50. Gain of 15. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, you're exactly right. We would never know from Bill Belichick that there was anything wrong, but it may not be that simple because a high-ranking NFL official tells me that the Jets are very seriously considering asking the NFL to launch an investigation into the Patriots' use last week of unassigned and uncoordinated radio frequencies. Now, these can be used to listen to or record audio. It boils down to a claim that the Jets feel that there was a second camera that was stationed next to the one that was shooting the Jets defensive coaches sending in their signals. And this second camera is believed to have been illegally recording audio that is suspected to be the Patriots defensive linemen who were wired up in order to get the Jets audibles and offensive line calls. Now, this would be a clear violation, another one of NFL rules, not to mention that there were no players legally mic'd last week on either team.
John, as far as we know, Roger Goodell, he's going to look at evidence. He told Bob Costas he's heard a lot of stuff. If he gets the evidence, he's indicated that this is not necessarily a closed shot. Look, this could not only be a can of worms for the Patriots, it could be a can of worms for a lot of teams down the line from the 50-yard line. That's Welker picking up 5.
But, you know, the good thing about it is the commissioner caught it in the first game of the season. So maybe it has gone on, and it has gone on last year, the year before. They heard about it. The competition committee talked about it. They put in rules. They're going to stop it. And this will stop it.
68's eligible. 68 reports eligible.
I was just going to say, you have to remember, that was the first game of the season when they caught him. So they caught him, and they said, no more. And I really believe that there's going to be no more. Now you say, well, you believe there's been much? Yeah, I think there's been quite a bit by more teams than the Patriots.
Here's Maroney picking up a first down. So methodically, New England moving down the field and taking time off the clock. And there's a flag down here. Of course, there's a lot of bad blood between the Jets and the Patriots, and there have been for years.
Holding, offense number 88. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
You know, Chris Collinsworth described it as hubris, you know, going into, of all places, the Meadowlands with Eric Mangini coaching. You know, it's kind of funny. I think when hubris and paranoia sometimes intersect with technology involved, anything can happen.
And that's exactly what happened. And when you get defensive guys defensive coaches, they provide the paranoia for them. And you look at Bill Parcells coached here and left to go to the Jets. Bill Belichick was going to be the Jet coach. He goes up there, he's announced, then he says he's not going to be the coach, and he goes to the Patriots. So this isn't something new between these two teams.
No, and then Mangini, who coached here, goes there. And he and Belichick, at least outwardly, with a very frosty relationship. Wes Welker at the 44-yard line with 8.5 to go. So we may not have heard the end of this. I suspect we haven't. But as you know, as people have talked about all day long, and there's the stats update. Not indigenous necessarily or exclusive to the New England Patriots.
But it shouldn't overshadow how good the team is and how good the players are.
Correct. 3rd down and 3 from the 44. Brady throws, that's caught, and that's the tight end Watson breaking tackles, taking it to the 30-yard line.
You look Brady, like he's in a rocking chair back there. And Bill Belichick looks like he's in a rocking chair there, but it was like he looked at a chart and said, okay, I've hit my wide receivers. I got Randy Moss. Geez, I haven't gone to my tight end Ben Watson in a while, so let me give him a bone. And it's just, he's never been a quarterback that had a favorite receiver or a go-to guy or one guy that, he always wanted to get the ball to. He just spreads them out, gets back there, throws to the open guy.
From the 30-yard line on 1st down. Maroney, penalty.
Offside defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Ed Hockley's going to get frost on those biceps pretty soon. It's cold. Most wins, first 100 career starts. Roger Staubach, 76 and 24. Your man Kenny Stabler won 72, and Brady was 71 in 95. Tonight would make it 72 in 96. So he could catch Staubach.
I know all 3 of those guys, and I have the utmost respect for all 3. And I think if Tom Brady wants another touchdown pass here, he can still get one. I think they could still get one to Randy Moss.
3 championships in those 4 years. Last year, an 18-point lead in the AFC Championship game went down the drain. Otherwise, they might have made it 4 out of 6. Maroney gets bottled up. By the way, John, it is 47 degrees in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Well, that's fall. That's football. That's good hitting weather. That's the way it should be. Linemen love this weather. People used to say, it's 70 degrees, perfect for playing football. Depends on who you are.
That's right.
If you're a wide receiver, it is. If you're a defensive back, it is. If you're a 320-pound offensive lineman, 40-degree weather is perfect weather.
Well, 47's pretty good.
47's great, and these Patriot offensive linemen love it, and they're playing. They're playing like they love it.
Well, I'll take Indian Summer. 2nd and 4. Maroney, good series for him. They're just methodically moving down the field, taking care of the San Diego defense and chewing up the clock, which is now under 6 minutes.
That's the thing that the score being separated will happen. That it's a lot easier to run the ball in the second half than it is in the first half. It's a lot easier to run it in the 4th quarter than the 3rd quarter. And it's a heck of a lot easier to run it when you have a big lead in the 4th quarter. Because for all intent and purposes, the defense is done.
From the 12, cross outside, Welker. He gains 3 yards. And Wes Welker tonight, he caught 6 last week. And tonight he's caught 8, as has Randy Moss.
And that's what Wes Walker's going to be. I mean, he's going to be that guy that will catch 8 and average 7 or 8 yards per catch. And if you play him off, they throw it to him quick and short. He's going to be that short receiver, that zone guy. Randy Moss is going to be the deep guy.
The 2nd and 7 when we come back. 5:11 remaining in the 4th. Well, LaDainian Tomlinson did not play in preseason, but that's usual for him. Right now, for the guys who've carried 20 times, 1.9 yards per rush, lowest in the league. As, you know, we discussed last week, John. I mean, Randy Moss didn't play in preseason. He looks phenomenal. So I'm not sure what the equation is here anymore.
Yeah, and probably a running back, you know, doesn't need it. I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson doesn't need a lot of preseason carries, and you know, when he doesn't get them and he starts off, you know, with a great year, you say, see, he didn't need it. And then when he doesn't start off, you say he should have had it, and I don't believe that.
Here's Maroney on 2nd and 7. He's going to take it to the 5-yard line. This drive started at the New England 9 after San Diego couldn't capitalize on the fumble on the kickoff return. And now New England has had the ball by the time they snap it more than 9 minutes.
And that's a typical Tom Brady New England type drive. You know, once he gets balanced and, you know, he gets the run and the pass and he gets the defense on the ropes, and you know, this Charger defense doesn't have a lot left in it. And this is pretty easy picking for the Patriots.
Chargers next week at Green Bay. Pats remain here against Buffalo. Here's Maroney. And Maroney's going to chug ahead to either get the first down or come very close to it. And it's going to take another half minute or so off the clock, short of the first.
You know, sometimes when a team gets a new head coach, you just think, well, it's just Norv Turner for Marty Schottenheimer. But it's really not. I mean, it's Norv Turner and 8 new coaches. I mean, there's 8 new coaches on this staff, and there's adjustments and, you know, adopting to each other and all those things that have to be done that I don't feel have been done yet.
4th and 1. Sammy Morris is the running back. He'll get it, and Sammy Morris will go into the end zone. Going right through the brigade. The Gillette jump.
Yeah, this left side of this Patriot line, Mankins here and Light here have done an outstanding job this whole game. Watch them here. They start on a zone block. They get their guy. They just take him to the ground, and Sammy Morris just goes right over him. Logan Mankins here, a very strong player. I mean, he gets on his guy and has that leverage and just takes him down.
He was the #1 pick in the Fresno State 2 years ago. Gostowski for the extra point. So Brady on a 10-minute, 7-second drive. 15 plays. 38-14 New England. Jay Leno this week, he's got Hugh Laurie, he's got Dane Cook, he's got Jessica Alba, Howie Mandel, Amanda Bynes. Jamie Foxx will be there. Ali Larder from Heroes on The Tonight Show this week on NBC. Michael Turner will take it from the 5. Back up to the 25-yard line. Chargers on offense now with 3:13 to go, and New England in command, 38-14. Tom Brady, good day in New York last week. Great night here this week. And the Patriots on their way to going 2-0. 3 teams at the top and on everybody's list in the AFC coming into the season. New England, Indy, and San Diego. And John, as Tomlinson makes the catch, Indy 2-0. That they had their hands full today with Tennessee, looked great against New Orleans. Patriots have looked very good in their 2 games. And now you begin to wonder a little bit about San Diego after tonight.
Yeah, San Diego's not 1 or 2, definitely. When we did in the first game, Indianapolis, I thought they were the best team. And tonight, as we look at these Patriots, I think they're the best team.
It's a movable feast. Tomlinson out of bounds at the 30. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, the Chargers have a long trip back west and, of course, a game next week in Green Bay, and they are really juggling injuries. Shane Olivier out with a lower back. Linebacker Matt Wilhelm in street clothes on the sidelines with a calf injury. And John's been saying all night that Jamal Williams doesn't look right. He is out with an elbow injury. They put a brace on him and sent him back in there to try to play, but that didn't work either.
3 starters. 3 key guys. 3rd down and 4. And that's deflected at the line of scrimmage.
It's funny, here we are at the end of the fourth quarter, and Phillip Rivers has never gotten any rhythm, and he has the same frustration.
Not in 2 weeks.
This defense, well, Chicago defense last week frustrated him. This defense tonight has really frustrated him, and he hasn't worked himself out of that. And you have to be able, I mean, everything isn't going to go smoothly all the time. There's going to be bumps in the road, but you have to work yourself out of it.
Mike Cyphers, a wobbly punt, dropped, and then recovered by Welker at the 26-yard line. What was Bill Belichick's week like? A lot of the same stuff.
You had a comment on people suggesting that this has happened in the past.
All my focus is on the San Diego Chargers. Just working to get ready for that team.
Do you want to address the fans?
We're moving on to San Diego. That's what I'm addressing.
Can you at least explain how you misinterpreted the rule?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And we're moving on.
Yeah, we'll pay $500,000 in installments, so you have to pay it up front.
Just thinking about the Chargers.
This would be Heath Evans. One reason, and it's not the only reason, one reason Belichick has really gotten whacked this week is he's not exactly the most media-friendly guy in the world.
No, he's not. And, I was there for that, and then I went out on the field with him, and like I said, it didn't affect him on the field. I mean, he was the same coach that I'd always watched, and and the players were intent, and there was no distraction at all. There was no distraction of the team, and there was no distraction of Bill Belichick or his coaches. I mean, they just went out and coached like that.
And the result is manifest when you look at the bottom of the screen and see the score, because this has been basically no contest since pretty early on. 24-0 at the half, 38-14 at the moment. 2 minutes remaining in Foxborough. Bears, Cowboys. John Facenda would have loved it.
All right, that's football. It's going to be looks like Cowboy offense against Bear defense.
That's next week. Tonight's game being brought to you by the new. Oh, sorry about that. I jumped the gun, folks.
I wonder what Charger fans are thinking when they look at Junior Seau. And they think, geez, we had that guy when he was with us. He was in the Pro Bowl every year, and let him go, and then he went to Miami and came here, and 18 years, and he's the captain. He's one of the captains of this Patriot team.
Well, he was gonna retire. I mean, it looked like he was gonna retire. She said graduate.
Graduate.
The rest of life.
Yeah.
False start offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You watch him and you remember him in a Charger uniform, and he was always flying around, and then you see him, in his 18th year still flying around, and wonder, how do you do that?
Went to 12 consecutive Pro Bowls. No question his number will be retired in San Diego at some point. Nobody will ever wear number 55 again.
One of the most popular San Diego Chargers ever, I mean.
Absolutely.
He goes up there with Lance Allworth and John Hadle and Larry Garrison.
Dan Fouts. And this will be Sammy Morris picking up a 1st down. Now we can tell you tonight, temperature in the upper 40s, but the crowd has been warmed by the performance of this team. And Matt Gutierrez, a rookie out of Idaho State, who would be their number 3 quarterback. Matt Castle is number 2. Will come in and take a couple of snaps to end the game. Well, we saw Peyton Manning, Tony Romo get on the horse trailer in week 1. And John?
Tom Brady is going to have many opportunities to be on many horse trailers, and he has been. And I would like to nominate Randy Moss. I think that, he has a resurgence for himself and for his team, and had a couple touchdowns again this week, and I think he's really opened this offense up.
Yep, I'll buy into that, because that was the big question about New England. We're going to upset the chemistry and all of that, and that's just the emotion of the week, and the guys understood it. And it's funny how, you know, you circle the wagons, and right there, they're circling the wagons.
And I think they knew that, you know, they knew what he went under this whole week and what it was like for him, and he never veered. I mean, he stayed with the program the whole time.
Focus, focus, focus. Post-game show, horse trailer player of the game, Chris Collinsworth will come along and chat with us for a moment. And all of the rest on the Sunday Night Football post-game show coming right up on the other side of this break. 38-14, the Patriots